folks' idea of a good time is barreling down the highway with the wind in their face. Other folks prefer to just sit back in an easy chair. This guy says, why not do both? And how about a race car driver who gets out of the pit to preach in a pulpit? Or a fella who doesn't commute to his office, he commutes in his office. Yep, there's nothing finer than bouncing two ideas against each other to see what happens.
Started with an old Lazy Boy recliner. Built the frame from scratch out of square tubing, welded it all. The engine is a 4-horse Honda. Got a little horn. I've got a tape stereo under the thing here for music, and headlight and tail light kind of for safety. Howdy, Steve. How you doing, Jay? Want to go for a cruise? Sure.
That's Steve's friend and neighbor, Jay Norelius. Now, Jay was the first one on their block to stick a motor on a Lazy Boy. Steve liked it so much, he just had to have one of his own. Jay's never short of ideas either. Right now, he's working on the ideal way to keep ants out of his lunch.
Well, the powered picnic table has really got my interest, because I got a spare picnic table and I got a spare motor. I think that would be okay. We're much alike. You get something in your mind and you think about it long enough, one of us will build it. It may not be pretty, but it'll happen.
You know, I've always said there's two things you never say to a Polak. One is you shouldn't do that, and the other one is you can't do that. Because generally that's the best reason to do it, is when somebody tells you you can't.
The other thing you don't say to this Polish gentleman is, the fridge is bare. Of course, it's not a big problem if you're motorized. Steve just drives down the road to the neighbor and puts the bite on him for a cold one.
A couple, 3 months ago, I was working in front of the shop and I heard this little motor humming like a little chainsaw or a lawnmower, but it was too far away to be in the yard. And I looked up on the road, and here I see this recliner in full recline position, and it didn't look like anybody was in it. It looked like a runaway Lazy Boy.
Well, howdy. Yes, it's running fine.
Yeah, I don't think you can hang anything more on there.
Well, there's not much room left.
I think you've drawn the line. Is it coffee time or what?
I'm ready for a beer. You got any?
Beer?
Hang on, I think I got a couple in the shop.
Okay.
Not crawl, right?
Yeah.
It's a little crawl.
Yeah.
It's okay, he'll pass.
Yeah.
This whole moving sign's working good for you.
Yeah.
You lost your flags.
Yeah. Well, that's what high-speed driving does. See.
Not that Steve built his rolling lazy boy just to cruise the neighborhood for free beers. No, he drives it to rock concerts, he enters it in parades, even pops into cruise night at the local drive-in restaurant.
Not bad, how are you? You basically...
It's amazing how much attention a combination easy chair hot rod can attract.
It was definitely different. I want to get one.
You just made it.
I definitely want to get one.
Everybody should have one. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you'll be relaxed wherever you go.
Questions, anyone? Well, the way I look at it, any man who drives a chair is a chairman, and it's not the chairman, but a chairman, like a fireman or a cowboy. It's not saying I'm the only one, it's just I'm one of a few, and that's why I don't have the chairman on it, I am a chairman.
Some folks say, motorized easy chair, you can't be serious. Steve Wazolek would say, so who wants to be serious?
I think people get too caught up with life and they forgot how to have fun. That's the kind of thing that I see in this. Like, this is fun. It's built just for fun. There's no real purpose to it, but it doesn't have to be, you know? People miss that, I think, these days. They're too caught up with their lives to have fun, and this is a great way to do it, I'll tell you. I didn't realize how much fun it was till I built it.
You take two ideas, the thrill of travel and the comfort of staying home, you bang them up against each other, and what pops out? The Hot Rod Lazy Boy. Good thinking, Chairman Steve. We're just outside Tim Davis's home in Colwood, British Columbia. That's Tim there. Tim's an amateur stock car racer and what you might call an instinctive mechanic. He's about to perform an emergency realignment of his radiator.
Oh, wow, that's a lot better.
Even though this is just a hobby for Tim, he has to worry about his image a little more than most of us would.
I wanted to apologize for my hat and how dirty it is. My favorite driver in NASCAR is Mark Martin. He's number 6 and he used to be sponsored by Valvoline. But he's changed sponsors, and I was going to get a new hat, but I didn't think the people from the church wanted me walking around town with a hat sponsoring Pfizer Viagra.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't look very good. Did I mention that Tim has a job at the Colwood West Side Bible Church? Not just a job, it's the top job. He's Pastor Tim Davis. At the church, that is. At the track, he's known as the Pastor of Disaster, driver of a 1985 Mustang called Jehu Chariot.
We thank you, Father, that...
Tim didn't plan to preach. He was going to be an auto mechanic until, at 15, God called him to serve.
But in 1 Samuel chapter 1, the passage that we read, I think that there's a fellow there that really didn't fully understand the drive and the passion.
Well, there's no doubt that the Pastor of Disaster understands drive and passion. He's got both in spades.
I stand amazed in the presence of...
Oddly enough, I found that singing hymns while I'm racing along works, and it relaxes, and then I just have fun.
A sinner condemned unclean.
I thought he was a pretty bizarre dude, but once you get to know Tim, he's actually really a special man.
Tim's 3 kids sure think so, and so does his wife, Susan.
He enjoys life no matter what is happening, and I always feel, being married to him, that he's pushing me outside of my comfort zone, because I am a middle of the road, enjoy life as it is, and don't do anything exceptional, where he is always pushing the limits and he's always trying something new and he's always just out to do something different.
When it snowed a few winters ago, he went and did some donuts in the church parking lot, and that was cool.
Tim's good enough at donuts to be a cop. He's a great salesman, too. At a minister's barbecue a few years back, Tim challenged other clergymen to a special race. The minister said, "You're on." And that was the beginning of the denomination derby.
Well, the guy in the punch buggy, he's got his pilot's license. His nickname Sky Pilot. And Bob Green, who's on the pole of this race, he's gone skydiving. Pastors are just ordinary people that God's called to serve them, and we're just having fun and just showing that when you give your life to Jesus, it's not the end. We don't trade in all the fun and pick up our harp and go to lessons and sit around all long face.
Go fast, turn left. Hit brake.
That's why they call it the denomination derby, because, it might be akin to the demolition derby. We just don't know, you see.
The first time you're out there, stark terror, usually. You can hear cars coming up behind you, and it can be a kind of a terrifying experience. But then there's exhilaration once you get into it. After the first couple of times around, the adrenaline starts to flow, and it gets to be really exciting. You become very competitive.
Father in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful night, this beautiful weather, this day that you've made and given to us, reminder of your love for us. Thanks that we can gather here. We pray for your blessing on all the racing tonight, safety.
The pastor of disaster from Westside Bible Church, Tim Davis.
And the Lord said, "Come forth." Looks like these guys all plan to come first. Fellas, whatever happened to love thy neighbor? Chariot is making up time on those corners, but will that be enough to pull ahead of Pastor McNabb of the West Shore Presbyterian Church? Might be time to break out a hymn, Tim. The fire department is standing by just in case any hellfire breaks out, and volunteers for the Sydney Pentecostal Youth Church help out with some enthusiastic pit stop hood pounding before the final few laps.
I could have gone another 20, 30 laps. It was super, fantastic. The only thing is, whoever owns this car, I hope I didn't bring the engine out. Because I just ran it pedal to the metal the whole way. Faith was that if I run into somebody and smash them into the wall, that they won't hold it against me later. I was concerned more for forgiveness than faith.
I think there's some people that probably think it's very strange, but I think it's wonderful because they had a great race with a whole bunch of ministers went and they had a grand time.
God's given everybody the ability to drive and work on cars and to learn things, and it would, I'd probably get beat up if I kept winning all the races. Either that or my church would fill up or something like that. But I'm guessing from history I'd probably be beat up before my church filled up, so. Yeah, this is kind of indestructible.
The pastor of disaster is already in training for his next track appearance. He's going head-to-head with his 10-year-old son, Clayton. Pastor Tim Davis, a man of driving passion, in the pulpit and on the track. the Texas skyline from downtown Houston. Like most cities, a lot of glass office buildings that... Hey, is that office building making a left-hand turn? Tain't a building. It's an art car and the brainchild of Adrian Franks. Adrian didn't set out to build a glass box on wheels. It just kinda happened.
I sat down one day and said, I'm gonna build an art car, and then I looked around at everything I had. I happened to have a dozen skyscraper panels just laying around gathering dust. So I went out and decided, blow off the property taxes, ignore those bills. Let's go buy a bunch of steel. And so I bought about 1,500 pounds of steel that you can see here and started going to town, put the heavy duty bumpers on, did the stringers, started working up, did a superstructure, took a piece of glass out the other night and went, yeah, this is good. So anyway, the vehicle is called Wheel Estate for obvious reasons. And it's gonna be 12 panels of a double wall skyscraper glass. They run about 150, 175 pounds a piece. So it's almost a ton of glass hung on the vehicle, 1,500 pounds of steel.
Tons of glass and steel? What kind of mileage will this skyscraper get?
Who cares, man? This is Texas. We don't care about fuel efficiency. We care about big. 4 barrels, 4-barrel carburetor, fully coated engine, hooker headers, dual exhaust, 4-speed. Baby will go, man. Yes, it will. Probably get 8 miles to the gallon. And who cares? I don't. Got to burn it while we can, because it's going to be gone. We're lucky to be alive. Now, see, this is going to be carrying a whole nother 4x8 sheet of glass, okay? And this way, for parade purposes, we got the full effect of all glass front end. Those are going to be good. Now, let's see how they're going to hold the weight. Oh, yeah. I'll weigh about as much as one of those sheets of glass. Of course, they're a little stiffer than I am. But yeah. Oh, that's gonna work fine.
This is Adrian's gold mine of choice. He calls it the artist's best choice junkyard. That Texas farm truck that carries Wheel Estate, it was a junker, half buried in the sand at a friend's farm. Adrian completely rebuilt it. He's still scavenging for a few last crucial bits to make sure the glass panels will stay in place. You wouldn't expect to find a man who works in electronics scrabbling in the dirt under a wrecked truck, but Adrian's always been the tinkering type, starting at 5 years old when he made a homemade wheelbarrow. Adrian figures if it's man-made, he can fix it. If God made it, he's got a 50-50 chance.
Actually, the structure and everything else is what takes time. But putting the glass on is a heartbeat. All we got left is carpet, glass, fit the doors, boom, it'll be out of here. And interior decoration. I've got some real nice glass tabletops, and I think it should have glass tables in it, why not? And a nice glass table up top and seating, and we'll have a little coffee pot, a little coffee service area, and the organically grown coffee from the Audubon Society. So to remind everybody that, you know, this is what it's really all about. You should buy this $14 a pound coffee to save the rainforest while you drive around in something that sucks down fuel. It's just idiotic.
But idiotic never slowed down a true visionary. Behold, Wheel Estate. From Texas farm truck to office cubicle with a view.
Okay, I'm gonna make a couple of stops, but I'm on my way. See you there.
Adrian Franks started out with a question. What would happen if you took a typical glass-walled office cubicle and put it on wheels? Then he proceeded to answer the question. And the amazing thing is, Adrian had never worked with structural steel before, had never hung commercial glass. But then Adrian's never been in the world-famous Houston Art Car Parade either. That's about to change too. The famous Houston Art Car Parade. Folks here have seen just about everything that's weird and rolls. But this might be their first traveling glass building.
It will carry a lot of people, yes it will. Well, those are the things I wanted in an art car. I wanted elevation, and I wanted room for my friends. So we'd all have a good time. I didn't want one of these cars that only carries one person. It's like, what's the fun in that? You can't take anybody with you. Let's see what the capacity is going to be. Get as many as we can up there. Suspension check. Suspension check. Come on. We got room for you. Come on. Get on up there. All right. Okay. How many we got? What's the head count? Oh, sorry. Sorry, it just touched the bump stops. We need to take one person off. We got to just get one. Just one. Oh, that's it. It's perfect.
Perfect it is. Adrian's come up with an art car that's an office and a vehicle and a statement all in one.
It's a joke on what people do. They ride around in their tinted automobiles to go to their tinted offices. So I figured, well, why not just combine the two, and wherever you go, there you are. Why drive to the office when you can take it with you?
Adrian Franks, thinking outside the box by driving around inside one. Pastor Tim Davis, who knows there's nothing in the good book that says thou shalt not pass. And the chairman, Steve Wazolik, refusing to leave the comforts of home at home.
How weird can we get? Well, we're working on it. If this isn't weird enough, come back next year and we'll be weirder.